Well, we're witnessing a slight movement up in silver today, right before the release of the non-farm payroll. But I actually want to tell you the real situation. I said a couple things about discretionary spending. Basically, like the gambling and prostitution index is one that shows that there isn't a lot of strength in the economy. But I'm going to show you two more charts, and not that I'm a chartist, but actually, charts actually work. But I'm not a broker. I don't analyze charts. I'm not trying to get you into my fund. I don't like analyze charts, so you come to me for advice. Yeah, right. Actually, to tell you the truth, on YouTube, the actual videos I do that probably do more eventually are health and about cars. This is like, recent current events, and, it dies off, but sometimes some of the silver videos I think I put out that are better, there's more like common sense advice, like, Sam Zell's words of wisdom. That stuff actually is excellent. You can't ignore that type of stuff. But I just got to tell you this too, there's such thing as work, and no matter what you do, even if you're doing it on YouTube or whatever, it requires real work and effort. You notice I put out a lot of videos and a lot of different types of content. That's not because I'm not working. Actually, I'm working on another job too. I work for something else in accounting finance too. But you notice, some people on YouTube actually they put out one video and call it a day for the next month. That isn't me, and I don't regurgitate people's garbage. I don't do that. I put out my own stuff. Period. So one thing I've realized though in the past, and I was being influenced heavily by these clowns on here before, but I'm going strictly by my own thoughts, because when I stick strictly with what I think, a lot of times often I'm right. But remember, I'm getting on with something about the non-farm payrolls coming out. I don't know what kind of numbers are going to come out, because I don't trust the numbers, but the numbers do influence the price of gold and silver. So if the non-farm payroll looks like they added a lot of jobs and stuff like that, the price of gold should go down. But what I've been picking up on every time, now the gold silver bloggers, even all the gold bloggers, are thinking that gold will trend lower in 2014. They've been wrong every freaking year. They've been wrong all the time. And now I'm thinking, we probably have seen the bottom. We probably already have seen the bottom before. It's made a double bottom. Maybe it's on its way up. But the actual thing why do people buy gold? I'll put this down in perspective like 101 again. It's because of fear of the dollar, fear of what's going to happen in the future. It's not that you're scared, but it's a smart thing to do, because these other areas are unsafe. The economy's not safe, so you buy gold. That's really what it is. Some call it a risk asset, but it's actually the safe asset when everything else is risky. If you want to put it that way. If you feel that the stock markets and equities are too high now, which they are, they may eventually go to 20,000. Say, for instance, we have a 30-40% correction in the markets. You want to actually hold on if you got caught in that trap and not sell off. Just as with silver. If you bought it at 35, 40, 45, 48, you want to hold on and not sell off, now that you've been caught in the trap, of 20. Because I don't really see it losing down to 10, So, because eventually it will recover due to the ravaging effects of inflation. The QE is not going to go away. So here I want to actually, they talk about the unemployment chart went down below 8%. So here it is, right? It's below here. This is 6.7%, right? But the real problem is, and they get this off of the U.S. Census data. The U.S. Census goes around and actually find out the information. It takes a long time, but they've been finding out the number of percent of people not participating in employment is way the hell up there still. And it may even be higher than this chart. Who the hell knows? Because actually the percent of people that they're counting as participating in employment may be taking jobs in Walmart or something like that, where they're getting paid low wages too, that they got high wages before. Who knows, right? So this actually is telling you the economy stinks, okay? Now, I'm going to give you another chart, just to throw some charts out here, but these are more realistic, and it's not a trading chart, more or less, but this is actually the usage of oil going back to, freaking half blind here, 1984. So here you got the consumption, actually it's the usage of not crude oil, not by industry, but retail sales of gasoline. In other words, what do people do when they got extra money to go someplace, right? They call it extra money. I don't call it extra money. Idiots call it. Women call it extra money. It ain't extra money. But look what's going on. The population in the United States is actually rising, right? The economy is supposed to be, the GDP numbers are going up, right? GDP actually includes all the governmental spending, all the money the banksters got, all their fat salaries, the 33% growth in the biggest banks, right? That's the GDP. That all's going up. Here's the retail sales of gasoline from 1984. It's freaking lower. It's from 84. Okay? 84. I mean, you're talking like 30 years ago. Okay? It's lower. That is not, somebody's going to argue with me and say it's due to the fuel efficiency of cars. But, if you look at this chart, you're talking from 2006 and 7. That's right here, right? Fuel efficient cars have been out for a long period of time, right? It's dropped off. It's not because of fuel efficient cars. So what is that really telling you? That's really telling you the economy sucks. Period. It's bad. Now, I'm not going to play Alex Jones and throw the fearmonger thing, because actually, when there's a problem, you roll up your sleeves and you fix it. You don't sit on your ass and play drama queen. I guess Alex Jones' job is to play drama queen all day. That's what he does, right? That's how he makes his money. I don't play that game. But, the reality is that the situation in the economy is bad, and that is really why people go into gold. Because, fear, basically, it becomes a safety. It becomes a safety. So the economy actually has never really recovered since 2006. And, if you actually take out from the GDP the excess, all the extra government spending they did, which is all fueled by debt, the GDP has been contracting since the last crisis in 2008, 2009. So there is no recovery. And like if I know this, the Fed knows this, right? You know that. You know what their game is with QE. It's basically to pump money, basically to make sure the dollars are all on the top with the Goldman Sachs and everything like that. That's really what it is. Oh yeah, and you can't fight them. Like I said, it's a collective effort. But actually, even during the Revolutionary War, if you want to look at it this way, how many people actually fought the British? 3%. 3%. Now, I don't want to get into this drama shit about, 1776 and all this garbage and, the redcoats are coming or something. But, it was only 3% of the people that fought. Most people were freaking lemmings, kissing the ass of, the British monarchy out there, And actually, if you look today, unfortunately, UK's got less freedoms than the United States, and we still got our gun rights. And why is that? Because we got a Bill of Rights. We got a Bill of Rights. We got a Constitution that, gives us, the people, the power to limit them. But, the way I look at it with this economy shit, I always look at it as a joke. Because actually, if I wanted to, I'm playing this YouTube stuff a lot heavier than probably I should for. Well, I don't care because I got, I'm fine for a long period of time. Actually, if I'm shrewd with my money. I practice the principle of cheapness. I'm going to tell you, we used to transfer like big freaking wire, like even if it's like you're wiring, $60 million or some shit, or $4 million, maybe not 60 million at one time, but $4 million, maybe 60 million over a couple months. We make the other guy pay for the wire transfer. $15. You're wiring $4 million. You know, the average person look at $15 like nothing. Nah, you ain't paying that shit. Look at the details, and that's why the principle of cheapness actually gets you over. You'd be surprised how fast pennies add up. So anyway, that's actually what people are starting to do now, because their backs are to the wall. So they're following the principle of cheapness. I call it that, whatever you want to call it. But the thing is not to be discouraged. Just roll up your sleeves and get to work on things. Silver, I just bought a little bit more. I'm like kind of skeptical. Well, I'm not skeptical about buying more, but I have enough. And it's like, yeah. But this crap has been so low, so long. I got it a little bit, yesterday, day before, when it was at the low yesterday, whatever the hell it was, and day before, whatever it was. But this stuff's been low so long, it's not going to stay there. This is actually going to break. What I suspect, though, and this is just a suspicion, since insiders make money on the way up and the way down, I don't think the blow off top is going to come that fast, where there's a big super financial crisis reset. I don't think it's going to come super, super fast. I think there's going to be a fake out. Now, that's really coming from my gut. But I understand, like, first off, the empire doesn't fall that fast, even though you think it might. The drama queens will be out there. Like, if silver started getting legs and started going over 30, 40, 45, it broke through 50. If it breaks through 50, it's probably going to go quite a bit above 50. If it gets solidly above 50, it'll go quite a bit above 50. But if it does do that pretty quick, say in 2014, by the end of the year or something, what's going to happen is it's going to crash below 50. That's what I think. Because if they can manipulate it, why not manipulate it up and why not manipulate it down? You make more money faster on the way down because it crashes fast. And we do know that people know ahead of time when, margins are going to be increased or whatever they're going to do. They know this. So why not manipulate it up and down? Now, I'm going to also comment on something that's a real pump and dump. Not that I dislike the concept behind it. I think the concept is good. With bitcoins and cryptocurrencies, I think the concept is good, so don't get me wrong there. But, my suspicions, without getting into a lot of detail, were correct about bitcoins, man. There's some major players pretty much running that whole deal. And they can pretty much, there's been information now out that, if these major players keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, they basically can steal all the bitcoins out there and basically make them go to zero, more or less. They want you to grab it. They see that really can be considered a pump and dump operation. That really can be. And, actually I could call this, I could even say when entertainment could be a pump and dump operation, A lot of times things are like that too. I mean, you could look at it, any damn thing out there, but I always realize that solid goods that have been around for many hundreds and thousands of years, or hundreds of years and thousands of years, are usually one of the best bets out there, and silver is one of them, because the mines are not making money that much now, and it's all a matter of how you look at it. They always make money to stay in business, but it's always in the areas that are producing the easiest to get ores, where they already have the operations set up. But, they're not doing more capitalization of new ventures and stuff like that. So the supply at the current prices is going to dwindle. That's just what's going to happen. And at the same time, our economy's not looking good. Janet Yellen, well, let me put it this way. These people aren't stupid. I'm not like bringing out some facts that they don't know. They know this. They're playing a game. And that is why Goldman Sachs has been buying gold. That's a very, very important point. They're buying gold. Really? Are they pumpers? No. Actually, the guys that are pumpers right now are actually the other way around. It's the other way around. We got to look at what Goldman Sachs is doing. Goldman Sachs is buying gold. So what does that tell you? That tells you everything. That tells you everything. The central banks have been net buyers of gold, right? The largest bullion banks are net long on gold as of May 2013. What does that tell you? I don't know. I don't really care. People can do what they want. Actually, well, I don't know. It depends on who the hell I'm talking with on here. But I know there's a lot of negative. Well, it depends on who it is. There's a lot of negative people out there, and I really don't want to see them succeed because they're very spiteful. If you know what I'm talking about, and that's fine by me. But I do realize, though, paper money is, I'd say it's better than electronic money. But if you want to really go back to old school, it's going to be hard fiscal assets that's actually going to outperform paper money over the years. And that's just how it is. But as in anything, you have to work hard at whatever you do. And it takes a lot of hours and a lot of perseverance. So that's just how it is. And I think I'm picking out some facts here that are not really being said. Maybe a little bit was said about the labor participation rate has not been doing well at all. The people that are not in the labor market has not fallen. The unemployment rate, which is, when they're calling unemployment, is in other words, how many people are on unemployment, but they dropped off the rolls. The non-participation rate is still high. It may even be higher than this number, who knows. But the real thing, this to me is a major chart, is the retail sales of gasoline, because I want to point this out again. And from 84 to now, 84, it was actually higher. Now, I know these cars were, less fuel efficient then, but still, the population was much lower in 1984. But, if you argue about the cars being more efficient and whatever, but just look from 2006, 2007. The cars were fuel efficient then. And actually, car sales aren't really that brisk where people are all buying these, hybrids and stuff. And with the drop in price of gasoline, it's not being super high. People, the average motorist in the United States car is probably, not any different than it was 5 years ago as far as fuel economy on the average, even though maybe the new cars are more fuel efficient. So this is a major drop. Here, which means that's discretionary spending, which means they're not going out and about, and spending money in the economy. But the economy, the GDP supposedly is up. Why? Because of government spending and also because of all the money they're pouring into the banks. GDP is what the major banks are doing for profitability. So if they have troubled assets, guess who buys them up? The Fed, right? So, no problem. We screwed up. It's almost like, say, for instance, the Fed decided, if you bought, I'll give an example. If you bought silver at $45 and you were, you were the buddy of the Fed, and silver drops to 18, well, they buy it back from you at 45, and they have it on their balance sheet. Wouldn't that make your portfolio look better? And then you could do whatever you want with your money, right? How's that? That's why they don't lose. But these guys right now, Goldman Sachs, they're buying gold. So what's up for the future? Probably the opposite of what all the silver bloggers and advisors are saying right now. The direction is probably generally up. But it's not going to go like this. It'll take a while. There's going to be some fake outs. And as always, it's just an ancient principle with commodities. Most of the gains come right before it's really going to bust. And I think there's going to be a fake out bubble before the real hyperbolic bubble comes into play. So anyway, that's my update for today. And over and out.